Hello, hello, hello. This is Dr. Melida Barrow, living your best life now. How is everyone today? Well, I had a wonderful day. I have been speaking to so many people today, encouraging them and letting them know it's okay. Today might be a bad day, but tomorrow is going to be a good day. I want to thank all of you for watching my show, for coming on and enjoying this show. Today, we have an awesome show for you. I'm even excited about this show. I've had some experiences while I was in Africa and Ethiopia, and also in Abidjan, Ivory Coast. And I just wanted to share my experience with you based on the topic that we have tonight. Tonight, I'm going to tell you, I want to share so many things with you. And the title of this show tonight, actually, we're not going to really get into too much of so many things. But what we want to do tonight, really, is to talk about certain things that's happening in the world today. Actually, tonight, the effects of colonialism, past and present, are visible all over Africa and the world. And the reason I say on the world, because it's not just Africa, it is also in Latin America, in the Caribbean, in the United States, all over the world. And tonight, I'm going to talk about what I've experienced when I was in Africa. I want to thank all of you for watching this show. First of all, let's talk about it. Let's just come to this point. The colonization of Africa by European powers had a dramatic negative impact on the continent. That's number one. The Europeans had a dramatic effect on the cultural traditions of Africans through assimilations. Africans were acculturated in almost every area of their culture, meaning to assimilate a different culture. And I'm going to tell you something. I've seen it. I've watched it, not only in my country in Panama, but I've seen it also in the Caribbean and most of the places that I've been. We have been assimilating when it comes to culture, when it comes to traditions, religion, language, and image. The image I'm talking about is us, our image. The thing is this, let me just say this to you. I realize in life that all my life, I'm going to talk about me because all my life I've realized that we have been assimilating, trying to be someone that we're not. We should be all proud of who we are. We should be proud of what God created. This skin that I have, we should be proud of that. And we have spent so much time trying to assimilate to others. But do we have the fault of that? I don't think so. I think actually what has happened is the fact that due to colonization, we are spending so much time trying to be somebody else than ourselves. And one of the main things is that we are continuing to do what our slave masters, colonializers, all of them have taught us to do, not to like ourselves, not to like each other. I think we have to get to the point now where we need to love one another and we need to work with one another. That is something that I am pressing, will continue to press because of this. Let me explain something to you. When I was in Africa, I saw how I honestly, not everywhere, and I'm only speaking from my experience, please. Do not tell me, well, you're wrong, because this is not about a right or wrong. This is actually about your experience and my experience. I've observed, I thought at one point that I was still back in slavery, watching how people act, watching the servitude, watching how people are serving others. It just disturbed me for what I'm seeing. I'm reading up on so many things now. I'm watching how in Nigeria, in Jamaica, in all these places in Africa, where women are actually bleaching their skins and doing things that they're really not supposed to be doing, but they're doing it because they don't like themselves. They don't like themselves. And we have to change that. This is why I named this program the topic, The Effects of Colonialism, Past and Present. It's still visible. It is still visible. A lot of things that happened in the past is still visible today. We have not transitioned to a lot of things, you see. Let me just say this and give you a little history too, because between the 1870s and the 1900s, Africa faced European imperialist aggression, you see, diplomatic pressures, military invasions, and eventually conquest and colonization. The thing is that it's still happening. You see, it was place, how much it affected us. It's going from one generation to the next. We have to make this change, and we have to unveil the illusion on the things we're going through, because when I watch women and men bleaching their skin because they're telling me the reason why they're doing it is because they think that they can get a job. They think that they can get a woman. They think that they can do all these things by being white. But at the same time, they're not thinking about the consequences of what they're going through. And that is, you can catch cancer. I mean, there is a painful thing that's going to come after that. Instead of embracing who we are, we're trying to imitate others that have colonialized us. This is a very serious topic because Africans were acculturated in almost every area of their culture. You have people in Africa, and I'm not going to kid you, I'm going by my experience, that rather speak the colonizer language than their own language. You see, we have been introduced religion, and we recognize that it's not the right religion that we should adapt to. We should why can't we just go to God? Why can't we pray to God without all the rituals that has been given to us? This is not by God, this is by man. You see, look, around the world today, there are so many conflicts is found in many areas that were once colonialized or controlled by Western European or Soviet powers, I should say. The source of many of these protracted conflicts is large part lies in past of colonial or Soviet policies, and especially those regarding territorial boundaries, the treatment of indigenous populations, the privilege of some groups over others, the uneven distribution of wealth, local government infrastructures, and the formation of non-democratic or non-governmental system still exists. It is therefore essential if one wants to understand intractable conflict and its causes, to examine not only the issues and problems of the moment, but also influential historical factors, most notably past colonial and Soviet policies and their lingering effects. It's still in Africa, it is still in the Caribbean, it is still in the diaspora. This is why the mentality that we have, that all the things we cannot do, it is because all of this is coming from the past, you see. So if you find yourself that there's no progress in your life and you're struggling day in and day out about the things that you're going through and you can't find your way, it is because it is the effect of slavery. It is the effect of colonialism. It is the effect of all these things. And we're beating ourselves up every single day, thinking that is us. Thinking the indigenous people finding themselves, look, I'm working with indigenous people right now. And they find themselves, just to have a meeting, they have to go to I'm talking about the indigenous people in Panama. They have to go to the government in order to get funds, in order to come back to have their meetings, and waiting all day to have those funds. Now, why is it that they cannot have the meeting without the funds? Because they're scattered in different places. They don't have the money, but they have to go and depend on the master. Are you guys listening to me? I want to say today, I want to say this today. It comes a point now in our lives and in this world that we have to now take responsibility for our children, for our nations. We have to take responsibility based on who we are. We are no longer slaves. We are no longer children for those that's in power treating us as such. We are kings and we're king and queens, not just verbally. I know black people like to say we're kings and we're queens. But guess what? Are we acting like it? Are we really acting like it? Why is it that we can't work together? Why is it that, and you know what? Let me rephrase that. I got to change that. I got to change that. And I'm going to tell you why I'm going to change what I just said. It's because of this. I'm unveiling the illusion each day. And why I have to change what I just said is because if we keep saying, why can we not work together? It's going to go from one generation to the next. I am going to say now on this show, and I want everybody that's listening to me from now on, yes, we can work together. I am working with so many people that wants to work together, but if we keep speaking and giving the propaganda that we cannot, then we won't. We won't. All this about the crabs in the barrel, we tearing each other down. No, we're not. We are building each other up. Let us all say from now on, we are building each other up. The question is, who does the barrel belong to? And why are the crabs are in the barrel? Hello? And it's by nature that when you put crabs in a barrel, and they're trying to come out, it's not that they're trying to tear each other down. They're just trying to get out where they know they don't belong. Let me unveil some illusions for you tonight. Why is Africa the way it is? Is it because of Africans? No. No. What have the colonializers done to Africa? That is the question. What is happening to the people in Africa? Why are they still in the same condition that people say they are in? There are a lot of businessmen. There are a lot of people that are trying very hard to uplift their nations. And if you keep saying that, it is going to happen. But what we are doing is we are telling ourselves we're not working together. We can't work together. That is a lie. Dr. Melida Harris Barrow is saying, yes, we can. And we are. We are doing great things in the world. People just want us to keep saying what we're not doing. Let us talk about what we are doing. I'm out there, I'm doing, and I'm telling the world that I am, and so are you. So let's stop telling the world all what we are not doing. Take a moment now. Take a second now and share this video. This video, I want you to share it because this message has to get out. I want to say something that God shared with me today, and I share it with my husband. God is saying, he said this to me. Listen to this. Where have you been? Where are you now? You're always seeking more. I want. You don't realize the blessings I've given you. But the only way you're going to know your blessings, think about where you were and where you are now. Don't think about the now and where you want to go. Think about what I've done for you. Not where you want to go. You see, we are not appreciating what God have done for us. He have taken us out of bondage, but we keep telling ourselves we still in bondage. Why? Because we're comparing what we have now to where we want to go, but we're not comparing where we used to be and where we are now. You got me? You see? So where we used to be and where we are now, we should be thanking God every single day that we're not chained up, that we're not beaten day in and day out. We're not raped, women. We're not being raped daily, on a daily basis, by those that enslaved us. Men, think about what your ancestors have been through and what you are living today. What are you living? If you talk about slavery, let's be real. Huh? Let's be real. Because I am not going through what my ancestors have been through. So what am I doing now? I am empowering, inspiring, and having a movement for us to be what God created us to be. So when we look at Africa, my brothers and sisters in the diaspora, and my brothers and sisters in Africa, We are going to work together because God says so. God is saying, stop looking in the future. Look at what I've done for you and work on the future. Let us thank him. Are you guys following me now? So this is why when I see the effects of what happened to the people around the world, we cannot criticize them. Our job, it is to open up to each other and help each other. That's what we are supposed to be doing, not criticizing about Nigeria and about Ghana and about all the other nations. My job, God sent me here to make those changes. You see, your colonializers told you to only do business in the United States and Europe. I am here to tell you that God said you can do business anywhere you want to. Yes. And I have something else to say about that. What I'm saying is, your colonializer would never tell you to do business in Panama. See, they're doing business in Panama. They're doing business around the world. And you only doing business where they tell you to do business. It's over. It is over. You can do business in Costa Rica, Panama, Colombia, everywhere. In Colombia right now, in the Pacific side, in Buenaventura, there's a whole lot of business opportunities. And I'm working with my team in Colombia. Yes, we have to change the mindset, people. Those of you from Africa, I'm your sister. My kings in Africa, I am your daughter. I am going to bring the kings to the diaspora next year. My kings, if you're listening to me, and those of you that know the kings in Africa, let them know Dr. Melida Harris Barrow is coming to get you, to bring you to your children. It is time. We have the power. No one has the power but you. Why? God gave you the power. You just have to wake up and you have to change your mindset. I'm telling you, people, share this video for me. I need you to share this video because my African brothers and my African sisters, it is time now for you to work with your brothers and sisters in Latin America, in the Caribbean, and in the world. We know the language. We know the business. So if there's fear in you, let it be gone. Because now is the time to rise. And the time is now. If you're feeling that you're telling yourself, well, I don't speak the language. I don't speak Spanish. Neither do they. Get a translator. And let's do business together. Let's trade with each other. Those Africans that's in Africa, you're trading products all the way from Africa to US. Let me give you a bit of good news. You can trade it from Latin America because we have the same products that you do. We got the cassava, we got the plantain, the cocoa, we have everything that you need. Why are you only trading in Europe and in the United States? Because your colonializers taught you to do that. I am now teaching you to do business in the world. We all speak different languages and we can help each other. You have the power, you're just not using it. Thank God you're not in chain. And if you're in chain here, it is time to change your mindset. And in order to do that, I will teach you how. You get me? I love it. God is good. God is good. God told me, he said, Mel, tell the people, don't measure their success based on where they're going. Measure their success from where they came from. Because you're going to always want and want and want and never be satisfied. That's what your colonializers taught you and your masters. Dr. Melida Harris Barrow is speaking truth tonight. Always speak the truth. No time to be politically correct. This show is going to wake up a lot of people. It is time for us to trade. It is time for us to do business. It is time for us to uplift our nations and stop allowing government to destroy you. Kings in Africa, it is time for you to rise the way you used to be. Real kings. Don't be afraid. What are you afraid of? God placed you there for a reason. He gave you the position for a reason. He gave me this position for a reason to wake you up and let you know the power that you have, which is the power of God. I want to thank all of you tonight for listening to this show, because it's time for us now to do great things in this world. No longer are we going to be behind doors begging anyone for anything. To have a meeting, don't beg, sell. Sell whatever products you have. We can do it. We've done it before. We were kings and queens in the world until you was colonialized and enslaved. Now we're back. Yes, we are back in business. I don't know about you guys, but I know I'm back. God sent me here to tell the world, you're great. All of you that are being oppressed, you can stop it. It is all about the power that you use within. And if you're not using it, then you will continue to be enslaved, colonialized, and oppressed. For me, it's over, because I'm going to continue to do what I'm doing right now. And that is to wake you up. All those Panamanians from my country, it is time to wake up. Wake up. All these meetings and meetings and meetings, and we're not rising like we should. It is time to rise, my people. It is time to rise. It is time to invest with each other. Yes, it is. It is. And I'm not just talking about Panama, I'm talking about Costa Rica, Belize, all over the world. It is time to rise. And this about we can't work together, that is a lie, because we're working together. Stop telling your children that black people can't work together. Stop telling your children that we're not going to make it. It's a lie. If you keep that propaganda going from one generation to the next, you'll never get nowhere. Start telling your children to be successful. Start telling your children to rise. Teach your children how to go into the government from an early age, and let's teach them this about somebody going and in the government, and we're voting for somebody we don't even want there. Then if you want things to change, raise them. Raise the ministers. Raise the presidents. Tell your children from an early age, you're going to be the president. You're going to run this. And let's train our children to get back to who we are today. Not used to be, because I left that behind. My ancestors did not suffer for no reason. Think about what they went through. If you have forgotten, then in my next show, I will remind you. You can get up and you can please, you can walk anywhere you want to walk. Could they do that? No, they couldn't. Their children was taken away from them. It's coming back. Look at what they're doing to the children from Mexico. We don't talk about that anymore because the media don't talk about it. But why shouldn't we talk about it? Huh? They're taking our children again and displacing our children, and we don't know where they are. But see, we don't care because we're thinking they're from Mexico and they're Mexicans. That have nothing to do with me. They're God's people, my goodness. And we have to be concerned because your door will be knocked one day. They're killing us slowly. We got to get back to the king and queens that we are. And I want to thank you all for watching my show. Please share this video. People need to see. People need to hear what is really happening in the world. Have a blessed night. I love you. This is Dr. Melida Harris Barrow, living your best life now. You see, you can't live a good life if you don't know the truth. You can't live a good life if you continue to think like a slave. And always remember, get this book. This book is Unveiling the Illusion. Know who you are. Many of us don't know who we are. It is time. Get the book. Read the book. This book is going to tell you, oh my God, this book is going to inspire you. It's going to uplift your spirit. It's going to tell you, I need to do something. Those of you that have read this book, please say something on, send an email. Let the others know what you thought about this book. Because I'm going to tell you, when I wrote this book, let me tell you, I was going through a lot of things, but everything here is positive. This takes you out of the dungeon. Yes, it does. And good night. Good night. I love you all. Living your best life now. That's what it's about. Have a blessed night.